All right, former Yankee reliever Mike Stanton, who we had on before the series started to preview the Astros, follows the Astros all year. And you know him well as a guy who had great postseasons for the Yankees. Go back to the Subway Series of 2000. He won 2 games in that series. Always a terrific reliever, clutch reliever. And I wanted to get him on today to talk about McCullers' pitch in Game 4 and what he thought. And, Mike, welcome. Thanks for giving me a minute. I know you're busy today. Tell me this, Mike. Are you surprised McCullers got the start in Game 4?
You know, I was a little bit surprised. You know, Peacock has been so good for this team all season. Yeah, he didn't throw the ball overly well that first time out, but you know, I think this was just a situation that was between the two of them, and I think they liked the idea. And this is just my opinion, Mike. I think they liked the idea of Peacock backing up McCullers than the other way around.
Gotcha.
That if Peacock started and he struggled and McCullers goes in and he struggles, now you've got to tap out your bullpen just to get through the game. And I think this just makes a little bit more sense. It's a little bit more, you know, it just makes a little bit more sense. And then if you look at McCullers, you know, upside, I mean, he's got the chance to be, you know, he could go out there and give you a real strong, dominant 5 innings. Now, he's not going to go deep just because he doesn't have a pitch count built up, but,
right.
You know, he's got the higher end stuff.
Now, the interesting thing is, he was last night on a cold night. Last night, Yankee Stadium was freezing. He was out there on the field throwing last night after the game. I mean, I'm like, what is he doing out there? He was long tossing on the field last night about, I don't know if it was 11:30, midnight. They showed him on the field last night throwing after the game last night.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I thought that was a little
strange, right?
Peculiar. I thought that was a little strange that they were out there.
Why would he be doing that?
I think it was just one of those things. Maybe they didn't know. Well, actually, what happened is they didn't know if he was going to have to be used during the game, him and Peacock both. So, you know, it was probably a little different program than usual, but he probably didn't get any kind of long toss session in or get good and warmed up earlier in the game with the idea he might have to pitch. So once they figured out he didn't have to pitch in the game, and that he was going to start, then, you know, I'm sure he said that, you know what, I'd like to get some throwing in. So they went out and you know, played a little bit of long toss.
Wild. A couple hours later, he's on.
It was weird.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Now, he didn't pitch a lot. He didn't pitch in August. He threw 13 innings. I looked it up in September. He gave 14 hits and 10 runs. Pitched a little bit in the Red Sox series. You mentioned he could go 5 hard today. We know he's got talent. What do you tell him today if you're the Astros? Just go out there and go as hard as you can for as long as you can, even if it's only 3 or 4 innings?
Yeah, just go out there and try and be yourself. You know, because if he's calm and, you know, he's a guy that pitches with a lot of emotion, and we know, Mike, that if you have too much emotion in the postseason, that's actually a bad thing.
Right.
But just go out there and control yourself and just give us what you can. You know, spend as much time in the zone you can. And, you know, if he can get that breaking ball going, we know that that's how the Astros pitchers or any pitchers want to attack that Yankees lineup. So if he can get that breaking ball going, get it down in the zone, he could have some success tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised that at any point, and I know he wanted to get the fastball in, but why they went after Judge with a fastball in the zone, I guess he missed, because I would never show him a fastball in the zone. You saw what happens when they do. He hits a 3-run homer. I mean, he has had such trouble with the curve, I wouldn't even show him the fastball.
Yeah, I think that last night with Harris, I just didn't think that Will had real good feel for the breaking ball, and he kind of got keyholed into having to throw him a fastball because he had missed with the breaking ball already. He was behind in the count, and that's what makes Judge so dangerous. You know, yeah, you might strike him out several times in a row, but you know, he's going to hunt that one mistake, and if he can put the swing on it, he can do some real damage.
You know, the Yankees have held them down for 3 games. The Astros played great the first 2 games, but they're both 2-1 games. They've only had 15 hits in the 3 games. Mm-hmm. Correa, Altuve, Gurriel, the only guys who have hit it all. You surprised the Yankees have been as successful as they've been against the Astro lineup?
I'm a little bit surprised that the Astros haven't had a little bit more production. Now, I mean, you know as well as I do that when you get into the postseason, the offense goes down. You're just simply not going to beat teams into submission in October. But it looks like they've been a little antsy. You know, they're not striking out, but they are still swinging out of the zone. Only 7 strikeouts last night for Yankee pitching, but you know, just being a little bit more antsy. You're seeing some more off balance swings, and so what that tells me is they're being just a little too aggressive.
You know, Mike, the Yankees are going with Romine today to try and see if he can kind of coax Sonny Gray through the game. You know, he had some trouble bouncing the ball on Sanchez in their one start. How much does a comfortable receiver mean to a pitcher, in that if it's the guy he likes throwing to versus a guy maybe he struggles with a little bit?
Well, I think there is something to be said about that, but I think Sonny has been around long enough that shouldn't really make that big of a difference. And tell you the truth, Mike, I think that Gary Sanchez has done, you know, a pretty good job behind the plate. I mean, we haven't seen any of the laziness of where he's just, you know, trying to glove breaking balls. He's getting down and blocking. You know, as far as pitch selection, that may be a different story, but you know, if the mindset of the pitcher is right going into the game, that I'm going to call my own game, and unless you're having to shake every single solitary pitch, then it really shouldn't make that big of a difference. And you know, I think that sometimes there's a little bit more onus put on that about that pitcher catcher relationship than there needs to be. So I don't think that's going to. I think Gary's done an okay job behind the dish.
Tomorrow, whether it's 2-2 or 3-1, whether the Astros are going for the closeout or it's 2-2, Yanks are going to have to face a guy that owns them in Keuchel. Does Keuchel change anything from that brilliant performance, or does he come out and just try to execute the same way, Mike? Or does he have enough of a bag of tricks where he'll be different for the Yankees tomorrow?
Well, to tell you the truth, Mike, his last time out, he was different. I mean, he only threw 3 changeups, and that's a pitch that he has really attacked Yankee hitters in the past with. He got the breaking ball going. He was able to move it around in the zone, and then so it was basically, you know, breaking ball and a sinking fastball and a few cutters. So, you know, there'll be a little bit of a change. It'll be just depend on what kind of game plan. I would expect him to throw a few more changeups, only because, you know, he just didn't feature that many of them last time out.
You know, this almost reminds me of Arizona 2001. It's 2 pitches here for you guys, you know, that are just dominant. And, you know, the Yankees got to figure out one way to get around them. Otherwise, they're going to lose the series. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of Schilling and Randy Johnson, you know?
It does. It does. And, you know, the way they've thrown the ball, that brings it even that much, brings that point even, you know, closer to being true. But the
how good was Verlander? Wasn't Verlander amazing in that game? He was.
His slider.
That was like an old time performance.
Yeah, 124 pitches, 13 strikeouts. What's really impressed me since he's been in an Astros uniform is his slider has just been devastating. I mean, I knew it was a good pitch, but, you know, you go back, you know, 6 or 7 years, he was fastball, curveball. And now, you know, the curveball is really a secondary breaking ball. It's that slider is just devastating with just good velocity and all kinds of depth.
And strike one, he had at one point 90 strikes and 29 balls. I mean, that's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, that is amazing.
A lot of foul balls, which that's always been Verlander's issue. He throws a lot of strikes, and he gets, you know, a lot of elevated pitches and gets a lot of foul balls.
So, Yankee reliever Mike Stanton, who follows the Astros now, are you comfortable with, from the Astros standpoint, are you comfortable with where they are in this series, or did the Yankees put some doubt into the Astros last night?
Well, I don't think anybody really thought that the Yankees were going to go 4 and out. You know, they're too good of a team. They have too much power. They've got some veteran presence on there. And, you know, Yankee Stadium can be a difference maker. It's a very hostile environment for people coming in, especially if you're not used to it. They thought there was going to be a series. I had Astros in 6.
Right.
So that means the Yankees need to win a couple games.
Yeah, absolutely. And Beltran in the lineup today, I just finished saying, be careful. Is that just reputation, me saying that because I've seen him be dominant in the postseason, or could he actually still wreck a game today?
Oh, he could still actually wreck a game. Now, he doesn't have the bat speed that he once has, but, you know, if he gets an elevated breaking ball, especially with the short porch and right, he can definitely do some damage, or even a fastball up out over the plate. He can hook it. You know, like I said, he doesn't have the the bat speed that he once did, but he's still, he's still a Hall of Famer, and he still has some pop in his stick.
Rare bad game for Altuve last night. Does he usually come back strong after a bad? I just got a feeling he's going to be a terror today. I don't know why after watching him have a rough night last night.
Well, he's killed Sonny Gray in his career.
Oh, he has. Okay.
So yeah, that's that. So he's got that going for him. Jose. As soon as this is how it works with Jose Altuve, Mike. As soon as you start questioning him, he has like a 4-hit game.
Gotcha. I would never question him, but last night I was surprised they actually got him out with men on base. I was even surprised they got him out,
he gets a little antsy. They all do. They all want to hit. They've done a great job of putting balls in play, but on occasion they all get, a little jumpy at the plate, and even Jose does. The thing is, he has the ability to still put the ball in play and use his speed, but when his timing is right, and that's what we've seen for most of this postseason, man, he is a dynamic offensive player.
And you were right about Gurriel. He's had good at-bats the whole series. He really has. He's
hit the ball hard. It seems like all the time, Mike.
I agree. He's really had very good at-bats. He's had very good at-bats. You called it before the series. He's had very good at-bats. He really has.
And he was like top 5% in Major League Baseball in exit velocity. That doesn't mean just hits. That means just overall. So even his outs, a lot of times his outs are hit hard.
Listen, thanks for a couple of minutes today. I appreciate it very much, Mike. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, no problem. Talk to you.
Okay, Mike.